Chapter 19. The Knock That Shouldn't Have Come. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Psalm 34, verse 18. The moment they'd shared the day before didn't blaze like fire. It settled like embers. Quiet. Glowing. A warmth Ruthie carried in her chest that made everything else feel just a little less sharp. Since then, she hadn't known what to do with herself. James hadn't messaged, hadn't come by. Not a single word. Part of her was grateful. The silence gave her space to breathe, to not unravel completely. But the other part, the aching, trembling part, had hoped. For something, a knock, a sign. Proof that the way his gaze had lingered on her wasn't just mercy or pity, but something real. Something mutual. Maybe she'd made it all up. Maybe she'd wanted it too much. Maybe she was too broken to be chosen. Each thought struck like a match, igniting the self-doubt she thought she'd buried. And Ruthie, still learning how to steady herself again, felt them all as they smoldered through her chest. So when Naomi texted,
Hey, can you help me unpack books today? Just a couple of boxes, I promise.
she didn't hesitate. Naomi was safe, funny, steady. And today, the idea of something as simple as stacking books felt like salvation, like something she could control, something that wouldn't collapse beneath her. She gathered her things and made her way toward the barn to tell James. When she reached the doorway of the barn, she hesitated. The light inside was low, slanting through the wooden slats in soft, golden streaks that danced in the dust-filled air. As she stepped closer, her eyes adjusted, and there he was. James. He was there, turning toward her. Ruthie froze, caught between breath and heartbeat, as if the world had narrowed to the space between them. She hovered in the doorway like someone unsure if the ground would hold, uncertain whether she was stepping into something sacred or something already slipping away. His eyes met hers, and for a beat, neither moved. Her heart kicked hard in her chest, sudden and wild, but she anchored herself in the weight of it, forced her lips into something resembling a smile, tentative, unsure, but real.
Hey,
She said softly, like a question and a wish wrapped in one. He smiled back, slow and gentle, the kind of smile that carried things words couldn't. The silence stretched between them, not uncomfortable but fragile.
Naomi asked me to help at the bookshop today.
Ruthie finally said.
She was wondering if I would help with unpacking a few boxes.
James nodded and rubbed the back of his neck, voice a little hoarse.
Sounds nice.
He said.
I'm heading into town anyway, meeting Micah about a supply order. I could give you a lift if you wanted.
James offered, her eyebrows lifted.
You don't have to go out of your way. I could drive myself if it's easier.
I want to.
He said, calm but firm.
All right.
She said, the word gentle but full.
Thanks.
James gave a quiet nod.
I can be ready to go in 10 minutes, if that's okay.
He asked, voice low, almost careful. Ruthie met his gaze, something warm flickering behind her eyes. She nodded, the smallest smile touching her lips, less a gesture, more a letting down of walls. When Ruthie arrived in town, she didn't linger. She headed straight for the bookshop. The shop greeted her like a sanctuary, quiet, sheltering, the kind of place where the world felt manageable. Tape, books, shelves, predictable steps. Naomi hummed in the back room, her voice dancing between the pages. The scent of old paper and lemon oil wrapped around Ruthie as she found her rhythm. The afternoon unfolded without incident. Ruthie slipped into a steady rhythm, unpacking box after box until 6 had been sorted, stacked, and shelved. She even found a few gems nestled in the mix, titles she hadn't read but already knew would end up on her growing wish list. She and Naomi paused for afternoon tea, settling at the small table near the front window. Steam curled from their mugs as they swapped stories about their favorite books and the characters who had stayed with them long after the final page. There was laughter, real and easy, and the kind of warmth that made Ruthie forget, for just a little while, how heavy things had been. They were both wrapped in the ease of it, gentle conversation, the rustle of pages, the clink of spoons against ceramic, the kind of quiet company that doesn't demand anything, just is. The slow comfort of the day settled over them like a soft blanket. The afternoon drifted on, and Ruthie kept her focus narrowed to the task in front of her, unpacking the last box with deliberate care, letting the quiet order of it soothe her nerves. But just as she reached for the final stack of books, everything shifted. The soft ding of the bell above the bookshop door sliced through the stillness like a blade. The peace she'd found, fragile and hard-won, shattered in an instant. The air shifted, heavy, electric, charged with something unseen but unmistakably wrong. Her hand froze midair, a book half raised toward the shelf. A chill rippled through her skin, and every fine hair along her arms stood to attention, as if her body sensed the danger before her mind could name it. Then she heard him.
Miss me?
She turned, and in that instant her world collapsed inward. He stood in the doorway as if he'd never left, leaning against the frame like it was his. Like he was welcome. Crisp shirt, freshly trimmed beard, posture too relaxed to be anything but rehearsed. Dylan. That same calculated smile stretched across his face, smooth and gleaming, like a porcelain mask too thin to hide the shadows writhing beneath. Before Ruthie could gather a single thought, he began moving. Slow, deliberate steps that sliced through the quiet like a threat made flesh.
Ruthie,
He purred, voice low and intimate.
been looking for you.
Her throat seized. Her whole body went cold. Across the room, Naomi stilled. Her eyes snapped from Ruthie to Dylan, assessing the situation rapidly before interrupting.
Ruthie just got to head to the back. Be just a minute.
Naomi said coolly, disappearing into the back with her phone already in hand. Ruthie couldn't move. Dylan took another step forward, slow and deliberate.
You look good.
He said, voice coiled like a snake. Ruthie stepped back immediately and her foot hit the edge of a box. Dylan lifted his hand slowly, palms out, dripping with false innocence.
I'm just here to talk.
Voice smooth as oil. But before he could take another step, or let another poisoned word slip through that practiced smile, the door slammed open with a force that made the walls tremble. James and Micah burst through, called in by Naomi's urgent message. They moved fast, boots thudding against timber, eyes scanning, every muscle coiled and ready. There was no hesitation, no confusion, just a surge of protective energy that flooded the space like a storm front. James didn't look at Dylan first. He looked at Ruthie, and in a heartbeat he saw it all. The way her hands trembled, the way her breath had gone shallow, the way every part of her screamed without making a sound. His voice cut through the air like steel drawn in a storm.
Back, away, now.
Dylan turned, jaw tightening, posture stiff with sudden threat.
Well,
He sneered, eyes flicking up and down James.
fancy seeing you again. You really seem to be in my business these days.
James didn't blink.
I said, back, away.
Micah walked across the room without a word and positioned himself between Ruthie and Dylan, like a wall made of flesh and fire. It was at that point that Dylan's voice turned sharp.
Don't tell me what to do. She is mine.
No,
Ruthie yelled.
I'm not his anything.
Dylan's smile faltered and anger rose. James stepped forward, voice still and unwavering.
She doesn't want you here, so you're going to leave, now.
You're making a mistake.
Dylan threatened. But it was at that point that Naomi reappeared, carrying the long wooden pole she used for reaching the high shelves. Her grip was firm, her voice thunder in velvet.
Get out, or I call the police.
Dylan looked around. Naomi, Micah, James. But it was Ruthie his eyes landed on last.
You remember what I said
He rasped.
about us being forever? You know, I meant that.
Then, without another word, Dylan turned, his jaw tight, shoulders rigid, and stormed out, the bell above the door giving one final jarring chime as it slammed shut behind him. And that was when Ruthie crumpled. Her knees buckled beneath the weight of everything she'd been holding in, and she folded into Micah's arms before she even realized she was falling. There were no words, no questions, just strong, steady arms gathering her in, holding her together in that moment when she no longer had the strength to do it herself.
Thank you for listening to this chapter of Healing on the Land. If this story has touched your heart, I'd love for you to come join me for the next chapter. You can find it here on this channel. If you'd like to support more Christian storytelling, you can purchase the full book or make a donation using the link in the description. Your support, no matter the size, helps us to continue writing stories of faith, healing, and hope. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. May God bless you, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.